स्टार्ट।
नमस्कार। आपका अभिनंदन। मैं हूं सुधांशु रंजन। आज तथ्यता में हम अभया बलात्कार और हत्याकांड की चर्चा करेंगे, लेकिन उसके बारे में विशेष नहीं बताएंगे। निर्भया बलात्कार और हत्याकांड के बाद जिस घटना ने देश को सबसे अधिक झकझोर करके रख दिया वो है अभया हत्या और बलात्कार और हत्याकांड। इससे न सिर्फ पश्चिम बंगाल में एक उबाल आया है बल्कि पूरे देश की राजनीति में उबाल आया है। तृणमूल कांग्रेस के अंदर भी कुछ विरोध के स्वर उभरे, लेकिन जो सबसे बड़ा विद्रोह हुआ है वो है जवाहर सरकार का, जिन्होंने न सिर्फ पार्टी छोड़ दी है यानी तृणमूल कांग्रेस से इस्तीफा दे दिया है, बल्कि उन्होंने राज्यसभा की अपनी सदस्यता भी छोड़ दी है। उनका विरोध है इस घटना के बाद कि ये जो घटना हुई और उसके बाद जिस तरह से राज्य सरकार की प्रतिक्रिया आई उसको लेकर के बहुत आहत थे। तो आज हम इस कार्यक्रम में जवाहर सरकार के साथ बातचीत कर रहे हैं कि उनकी क्या सोच है, उन्होंने क्यों इस्तीफा दिया। तो देखिए उनके साथ ये साक्षात्कार। वेलकम टू आवर शो एंड थैंक यू सो मच फॉर स्पेयरिंग टाइम। यू, आई थिंक, are the first major dissent against the horrific rape and murder incident. So, first of all, about the letter you wrote to the Chief Minister and TMC President about the unchecked, overbearing attitude of the favored few and the corrupt. So, I would like to know from you, when did you realize that this kind of unchecked, overbearing attitude was there? How long you have been feeling about it?
You see, if you read my letter carefully, I have known about corruption and, if I may put it, dadagiri in all political parties, in all states, and you also know about it. So everybody knows that part of politics is the dadagiri and part of politics is one section will be corrupt, while another section is more straight. So Trinamool was also like that and is also like that. The point is when it crosses over the line. How do you know when it crosses over the line? You know when the people are out in the streets on this issue. Now, the people were shocked in 20. You see, when I joined in 2021 on an invitation from Ms. Mamata Banerjee, I was myself very surprised because I have been critical of most political parties, including hers, in writing, in speeches. But then she said, I am more critical of the authoritarian regime of Delhi, of the communal regime in Delhi. So it was a 1-minute conversation and she said, please take up this seat. I joined because it then immediately gave me a springboard to vent whatever I had to say at the highest forum in India. So my friend said that you are joining a corrupt party. So my reply was, please find me a non-corrupt party and I'll join that. I'll join that. So since we all know about the realities of politics, I said, I will not be part of it, but I will be sticking to what my assignment was, and that is to highlight the issues of West Bengal and highlight some of the major issues of India. I could get to do that and I'm satisfied about it. But 3 years is enough. That's number one.
Yes.
Number two, in 2022, within a year of my joining, the first revelation of massive corruption came out when piles of cash were found in the education minister's house. If you recall, Partha Chatterjee's house, when he was arrested. I lodged my protest even then. Again, the same logic prevailed कि आप अपने काम करो, आप मुझे show me one party anywhere in India that does not have such elements. You continue. So I continued for 2 more years, and that part of 2022 is on record with the differences. I continued to do my work as I've written in my letter, but this sort of unpalatable state of things went on increasing.
So you
I
mean
could feel
that,
it because
yes.
I go, I could feel it. And one incident of one rape triggered an outrage that India has hardly seen. For the last 35 days, Calcutta is almost at a standstill. Many parts of Bengal, many parts of India have joined in. Doctors went on strike in other parts of India. Now, this is not the first outrage of this type in India. It was triggered not only by the fact that it was very bestial, it was almost as horrible as Nirbhaya, or maybe more horrible in a way, but because there was, what shall I say, there was a situation where ignition was just waiting. It was waiting to ignite.
So you mean to
That
say,
is,
though the
Hmm.
things were not hunky-dory even earlier, you decided to blow whistle after this incident, because what you are saying that no party is free from this kind of culture, corrupt and hoodlums and gangsters manning the party. So how can you justify your joining politics and coming to Rajya Sabha? Maybe you see it as a lesser evil. That may be your perception. But when you find that all parties are alike, then you have to explain why did you decide to join the party and then also enter the house.
I have explained my primary enemy, my primary duty then 10 years ago, now, until I die, will be to fight against communalism in India. There has never been such a cancerous growth. You see, Indira Gandhi was authoritarian. Her emergency was a black spot in our history. Indira Gandhi did not leave behind cancer. Did not leave behind cancer. Even if this regime goes, which it will go, shall go in due course, the cancer it is leaving behind will spread all over, and it will take generations of chemotherapy to bring India back to its normal, great, plural self. It is my incumbent upon me to fight. And that is why I have gone there. And very few people you will appreciate would have the guts to leave also.
So you have
So
been
I,
against the central government in general and Narendra Modi in particular in the House, and also through your articles, you have been inveighing against the government. Maybe what you are saying is true, but again, the question arises that if other parties are not free from the canker of all these diseases, then is it wise to protest through this forum? There are other fora like Mahatma Gandhi and Jayaprakash Narayan who always thought that it should be people's power which should be strengthened. The state power is not sufficient to change or transform the society.
see, I am neither Mahatma Gandhi nor Jayaprakash. I know my limitations. My limitation is that I can understand, I can articulate, I have that passion to bring it forward, and I've utilized it for a limited period of time, half the tenure, let's put it, half the tenure. Because after that, it became unbearable. It was becoming unbearable to persons with conscience. Persons with conscience. So when you talk about politics,
Out about
the
it.
entire
Sorry.
profession is not tainted. The entire profession does not stand tainted, then Manmohan Singh is also corrupt. If we take it as a wide black brush, if you take it as a wide black brush, everybody is corrupt. That is not the way to look at politics. There will be a corrupt side, there will be a muscle power side, but there is also a positive, intellectual, and contributive side. And those who contribute, say, so I'm giving Dr. Manmohan Singh as a good example. Dr. Manmohan Singh would certainly not be involved in the other business that I said. So one can remain. But I found that for me, even the very thought of remaining beyond 3 years was getting a little too problematic. So I quit.
You
I
mean
quit. I have given up the privileges. I'm going back to Delhi on Indigo. And I'm okay. I'm okay.
You mean to say that there may be islands of purity and integrity in the midst of ocean, which is full of poison and full of corruption? So it is a possibility. Mamata
It is
Banerjee
possible and it has been possible.
is a
It
Pied
has
Piper.
been.
Yes, but Mamata Banerjee is Pied Piper for fighting against Marxist government, corruption. And what I have seen in Kolkata, and also I have read that the same cadre migrated to TMC, the way they extorted money earlier during the Marxist government, they are doing even under the TMC government, going to any construction site, where do you purchase bricks from, cement from, all these things are happening. And you must be aware of what was happening for the last 10 years in Kolkata or in West Bengal.
Last 30, 40 years.
40 years,
Last 30.
but I am deducting the years of left rule.
The left rule with all its principles and everything, I have seen it as an officer for about 25 out of his 35 years. It used to happen even then, trucks were stopped, money was taken in the name of puja, in the name of some festival, whatever. And even then, we found that if somebody was building a house, he was obliged by the local fellows, strong-arm fellows. That arose out of the sheer joblessness, if one may put it as an example. But it became a reason, not a justification. Certainly not a justification. It became endemic during the TMC rule. It was there, very much there. We know about it. We spoke to our then Chief Minister about it. And he also mentioned, and from time to time, there were actions against it. And here also, if you recall, 2021, when I came, the entire Bengal was united behind Mamata Banerjee in throwing out the BJP very substantially and very effectively. When Mr. Modi came, when Shah came here and did about 42 campaigns, and they sent every minister. Even after that, they could not win because all of Bengal was united behind her, and she won with a record majority. That is the height at which I joined, and at that point of time, today's circumstance did not exist. Not exist.
But that before you decided to quit, Mamata Banerjee spoke to you. Would you like to tell us something about the conversation that you had with the Chief Minister?
I have not told anyone about it. I have kept it private. She persuaded me to understand the realities. I requested her to call the doctors and to solve the problem. That's it. That's one of the issues. And I told her.
Saw on television and newspapers, Chief Minister sitting alone in the hall waiting for doctors. Doctors did not come despite a directive by the apex court. Ultimately, the meeting took place, but that was something unimaginable. The kind of protest doctors. Yes.
So you understand how far the antagonism had gone. The extent at which the purpose of me writing, saying that patiently for the last 30 days, I have been giving advice, I've been giving slips of paper, I've been giving notes, saying that this should be solved and this should be resolved in this manner. Now, there is obviously another section within the bureaucracy, within the government, within the party who seem to be advising her otherwise. Ultimately, it was when she went there were a lot of skepticism to the spot. Then when she called them, they did not come. So there was more skepticism and more criticism. But she hung on to it and they came, but no talk was held. And again, she hung on to it patiently. She didn't lose her temper. And finally, ultimately, they came yesterday. And to my belief, it is solved. Largely solved. This part of the angst is largely solved, and the doctor should go back to work.
How far are you satisfied with your performance in the Rajya Sabha? Because when you decided to go to the Rajya Sabha, you must have thought that you may be able to play some meaningful role in the Indian polity. How far you are satisfied?
Well, the quality of my interventions are up there in the public domain. It is for others to decide. I felt good when I got calls from every political party, every opposition and every proposition political party. I have about maybe 15, 20 calls, many more WhatsApp. Ye kya ho raha? Aap kyun bhag rahe? Aap kyun chhod rahe? That itself, we need you. That sort of thing is, in 3 years in politics is just a whisper. There are people sitting next to me who have been Rajya Sabha MPs for 3 terms, that is 3 6 18 years. There are people who are Lok Sabha MPs for 20 years, and 3 saal to is just a probation period, if one may put it.
There are people with 9 terms. You have been a very senior bureaucrat, so in the official capacity, you have served at the highest position. Then you also had the experience of being a parliamentarian. I have got many questions raised in parliament. Through some MPs, obviously, there are issues, and some MPs said that, yes, these questions need to be raised. And my personal experience is that The answer or replies given by the government, whatever government, I don't say present government, past government, every government lies on the floor of assembly. I am saying this at the risk of the breach of privilege.
I would largely agree with you that the answers are unsatisfactory, that we are in a state of parliamentary democracy where transparency should be more, elucidation and elaboration should be far more. And when I write about these experiences, or when I spoke to the Honorable Chairman, I mentioned that certain things that the inadequacy of answer. Now, I have been on the other side drafting answers also. Na? So, the drafting answer principle of the bureaucracy is inform on a need-to-know basis. Need-to-know basis. So, these are two psyches that operate parallelly, but do not mislead. That is equal to perjury. I have taken up at least 3 privilege motions. They didn't succeed. At least 3 privilege issues before the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, where I've said that this minister is saying the untruth, lies unparliamentary. So, untruth. This minister is giving distorted replies, etc. They went through their processes and frittered away. That is again another issue, that the parliamentary process must be more extractive of transparency, of factuality, of factuality. And when you talk of other governments and all that, I can say with certain degree of involvement that we were never told to give over cryptic replies. See, is it so? Yes, sir. Is it there? Not so? No, sir. But take it. What exactly are the details? They are annexed. ऐसा करके देते, but this government has mastered the art of stonewalling. Stonewalling, every data is suspect.
Yes, no, no details. Yes, no, doesn't apply this kind of reply. So what you are saying raises questions about the very efficacy of the parliamentary system. And I'm reminded of Mahatma Gandhi, who commented in Hind Swaraj that he compared parliament with prostitutes. ये जो ब्रिटिश संसद है बांझ और बिस्वा है.
So Lenin had called it a pigsty. That's worse. He had called it a pigsty. The problem is, people will get a government they deserve. People will get an opposition they deserve. And the people will ensure the process they deserve. We'll all have to go through, we're only 75 years old. In the history of a nation, 75 years is just a second on the cosmic clock. We are going through the learning experiences. And as and when, for instance, this Kolkata RG Kor case, the cavalier manner in which it was dealt with. Now, this is going to be a landmark case. As soon as something like this happens, FIR must be filed within such and such 15, half an hour, 1 hour, number one. Number two, scene of crime must be sanitized. Nobody should be allowed. You know, the standard operating procedures that will come out of the RG Kor case would help the rest of India also. We have to go. Unless you cross the limit, you don't know where the limit was. The limit is not.
What are the compulsions according to you that the state government did not act as per the law? The kind of vandalism that took place, thousands of people go to hospital, vandalize everything, FIR is not registered. What were the compulsions of the state government?
I have no idea. I've been a critic of it, so I have no idea, and I have my strong views on how it handled it, how the goons were allowed to go, why those goons who went and vandalized have not been caught and punished. I have very strong ideas on this, and I'm sure that the entire process will lead to exposure of what has happened, and so that the Thanedari system of governance gives over to a more democratic and transparent system. That you are not my bap, where this case is concerned, you are only an instrument. The OCs will have to understand that they are only instrument.
You are totally disillusioned with politics. You don't find any ray of hope anywhere.
Which one?
You are totally disillusioned with politics. So no ray of hope anywhere.
No, it is, I am leaving political parties. I'm leaving political parties having acquired a BA 3-year degree in whatever you call it. I'm leaving political parties because I'm also advanced in age. I can't go on like this endlessly. But I've been writing now for about 30 years, and 9 years I've been writing, largely political, largely factual, and largely polemical also, attacking. So I have not said. I can now go back with renewed effort, and as I've said, I will write and I will fight.
So thank you so much, Mr. Sarkar. You were very candid. You gave very frank replies, and I wish you the very best for your future innings and a very healthy long life. Thank you so much for talking to us. Namaskar.
Thank you.
तो ये थे जवाहर सरकार, जिन्होंने बिल्कुल खुल करके बताया कि वो तृणमूल कांग्रेस के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, अन्य सरकारों के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, क्या राजनीतिक पार्टियों के बारे में उनकी धारणा है। अगर आपको हमारा ये कार्यक्रम अच्छा लगा हो तो आप इसको कृपया सब्सक्राइब करें और शेयर करें। बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।